Cambodian government says heavy shelling by the Thai army has caused part of an 11th century temple to collapse. Fighting over the past 4 days has forced thousands of Thai villagers to flee the disputed border region. Hundreds of Cambodians have also been evacuated from the region. Both countries lay claim to the area. WikiLeaks founder Julian Assange is facing the second day of an extradition hearing in the UK. He's wanted for questioning in Sweden over accusations of sexual assault. His defence lawyer says he could face the death penalty if sent to the US on separate charges relating to the whistleblowing website. Stay tuned now for People in Power.
This is People in Power, and I'm Summer El-Shahat. On today's programme, Latvia's pulp fiction.
I think this is the limit. I mean, at some point it will have to go down because there will be a lot less wood available in the future. And you can't go on like this forever.
The Baltic nation of Latvia is blessed with some of the most beautiful forests in the world. Thousands of square kilometres of pristine woodland that support a complex biodiversity of rare animals and plants. But now, with the Latvian economy in difficulties and the country in dire need for money, those trees are being cut down at an alarming rate. Overseas demand for the timber is high, particularly in the United Kingdom, which takes more than a third of Latvia's exports. Many of the products of that trade, from furniture to wood pulp to paper, are sold in the UK under a labelling scheme run by the Forest Stewardship Council, an international NGO that certifies timber is being sustainably produced. But is that really the case? Filmmaker Glenn Ellis has been to investigate the deforestation of a European wilderness.
Last month, London hosted the first ever Baltic-Nordic Summit, which focused on trade and the environment. 9 heads of state attended, including the Latvian Prime Minister, Valdis Dombrovskis.
We want this to be the greenest part of the world. We want this to be a part of the world that demonstrates that green is about green tech and jobs. And I think we've got the expertise and the resources and the enthusiasm to do just that.
But Britain's appetite for Latvian timber calls into question this enthusiasm. Latvia is a remarkable country because of its unique forests. Often described as one big nature reserve, it has almost 28,000 species of flora and fauna, many of which are endangered elsewhere in Europe. In summer, some of the world's rarest birds breed here, including the lesser-spotted eagle.
The main reason behind the large biological diversity in forests is not that the forests haven't been disturbed, but they've been managed for a long period of time non-intensively until about 1960. And that's the main reason why there are large populations of black storks. And of the wolf and the lynx, well, the wolf, lynx, and beaver are 3 animals that Latvia have permission to hunt in Europe because there are large populations of them.
Latvia's forests are also unique for having thousands of key habitats, small ecosystems rich in biodiversity.
It's estimated that about 70% of the woodland key habitats are not identified yet, and these forests are being cut. One example, in the summer, with students, we were in one black alder swamp. And in that swamp, there's 6 indicator species and 1 European protected species of mosses and lichens. And last month, when I drove past the area, it had been cut down.
This year, Latvia is experiencing its hardest winter for over half a century. Trees have fallen onto power lines. Much of the country is without electricity. As far as the forests are concerned, it's a catastrophe. These trees, seen bent over, have literally frozen to death. You might think that with the heaviest snow for 70 years, the logging industry would grind to a halt. But you'd be wrong. Latvia is one of the most densely forested nations in Europe, with over 50% forest cover, some 12,000 square miles. These are mostly state-owned and managed by LVM, the state logging company. A third of this timber is exported to the UK, guaranteed as having been sustainably harvested by the Forest Stewardship Council, the FSC, a registered charity. On its website, the FSC says it is dedicated to promoting responsible management of the world's forests. And when you see the FSC logo on a label, you can buy timber and other wood products, such as paper, with the confidence that you are not contributing to the destruction of the world's forests.
If you have FSCs, then they can't say that you are, for example, destroying forests.
But can the FSC logo be trusted?
In the end of the day, it's a marketing tool, and nothing else.
Companies around the world wishing to have the FSC logo on their product have to pay for the privilege. In the UK, the FSC stamp provides the charity with 70% of its income. And it can be seen prominently on any number of products.
They like to flaunt the fact and use it in their advertising that they are meeting our FSC, that they're meeting our FSC rules and that they're committed to our principles. We have to check that, so we charge them, but it's of great value to them. That's where the return is to the company, because they're associating themselves with us.
But many of Latvia's precious forests, supposedly protected by EU law, are being cut down at an unsustainable rate. The timber is removed and passed on to UK consumers, sold with the FSC logo on it. Forest harvesters like this one have a cutting power equal to 30 chainsaws. A tree that has taken over 100 years to grow can be reduced to logs in 2 minutes. In Latvia, 150 harvesters work night and day with a capacity to consume 15 million cubic meters every year, double the legal limit. But more harvesters are on the way, and there is no stopping them. A concerned insider told me that no one really knows how much forest is being cut. Part of the confusion is that when an area is replanted, it's classified as forest, even though the saplings are just a few inches tall and take 100 years to reach maturity. LVM, the state logging company, are the main beneficiary of this industrial felling.
First, I will explain to you on the computer what are we doing, how are we doing that, and after that we can go to the forest and see how all of that looks in the reality.
Thomas Kotovic was eager to defend LVM's case as responsible forest managers. Having shown us a computer presentation, he took us to a felling site known as a stand and translated for the foreman.
And this particular stand was 132 years old, so this means it was older than usual.
Jā, un šeit mēs varam redzēt tās vērtības, ko mēs šeit mežā saglabājam un atstājam necirstas.
And one can very easily see here all the things that we leave here for the nature, these values which are left for the nature to thrive.
In recent years, the practice of clear cutting has taken root in Latvia. This is where a large area of forest, say 10 hectares, is stripped of virtually every tree. This has left Latvia riddled with a patchwork of tens of thousands of clear cuts. At ground level, it's hard to see their impact. But from the air, the full scale is obvious. Maris Strazd has been studying clear-cuts for many years.
That actually shows how approximately our forest